Good morning. And a rainy morning it is here in the Cheshire countryside this morning. But it's not raining in here, it's nice and warm. I have a new stand for my tablet, so unlike the last few days where every time I've moved it it's fallen over, we shouldn't have that today, which is a nice change. Excuse me, I'm always a bit croaky at this time of the morning. Right, let's have a little look at what we're doing. We are working on this photograph of these two beautiful children. This is the fourth session, and we are basically here. In the first three sessions, you saw me lay in the background and the tree, and then we worked on the children's clothes and the ivy and built a little bit more into the background. And then in a short session last night, I worked on the young boy's face. So now I'm going to do work on the young girl's face and her hair and the arms and the foreground foliage, and that should bring us to an end. I do apologise for this croakiness. It's irritating. There we go. So, how are we going to start this, Stephen? Let's have a little look. I've deliberately not brought the tree and the ivy up to the girl's face. Because I didn't want to, because this is very dark. There's a lot of pigment here, and I didn't want to be in a situation where, as I worked in the face, I ended up with pigment bleed into their face. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the face and get that going. Bring in the hair, and then we'll finish off by putting in the profile with the dark background. The chat box is open for anybody that would like to say hello. Anybody that would like to pass the morning with me. I don't know whether it is morning where you are. It's 13 minutes past 10 here in England. So, and I get people watching this from all over the world. So you could be absolutely anywhere as far as I know. Just going to start by laying in a light wash over the face here. This is using some of just some leftover paint that was on the palette from yesterday when I was working on the boy's face. It's the very lightest of washes. It's very, very important when you're working on children's faces like this to take it very steadily and work very, very gently and lightly. Lightly? Is that actually a word? I don't know. Yes, of course it does. Go lightly. Yeah. But it's very, very important because the key to getting a lightness, a gentleness when it comes to children is to work very, very light, not to overwork it. We don't want to end up with one of those children that you used to get in sort of Renaissance paintings where it was as if the artist had never seen a child before in their lives. One of the things that you saw me do yesterday as I was working on the boys' faces, I actually, because the hair here very, very softly blends in to the skin, you saw me work both together, and you're going to see that again today, because getting the shapes and everything of the hair in, we are going to be using just darker versions really of some of the tones on the lighter part of the face. So what shall we do? Let's put a light wash of burnt umber and yellow ochre over the hair, mainly yellow ochre, to give us but a very, very, very gentle wash with a lot of water so that we don't get a huge amount of pigment on at the time. And I will be putting it on and taking off until I've got it where I want it. Let's gently, so just cover the area with that whole gentle wash there, and then take it out again. Now we'll start to bring this down a bit with adding a little more burnt umber to it and just a touch of Payne's Grey to just knock it back. And let's take a little look at where the hair is actually going. Going very, very carefully and taking a good look This is very luxurious, having a new stand for the tablet here that doesn't fall over all the time, I must say. It's been an absolute pain for the last couple of weeks. Absolutely fine, the old stand, as long as I was working landscape, but as soon as you start working portrait, it was totally unstable. So this is absolute luxury, I tell you. What I'm going to do is what you've seen me do a number of times if you've been watching me over the last week or two as I've been painting online doing this, is I'm going to just pop in the darks, because that way I can see where I'm going, see what I'm doing. I find that once I've got these darker bits established, it's much easier to follow the flow of the hair. Hair can be very enjoyable to actually work on. At this size, you have to take it very carefully. But I'm working with a nice new small brush, that not too small that it doesn't hold up enough pigment, but small enough so that it gives a delicate sort of feel as you put it down. It will dance nicely over the paper, which is what you want. be a little bit less talkative than normal this morning, as I'm really having to focus quite intensely to make sure that I get this right. Quite interesting doing it because it's a mass, a tangle of curls. It's not which is very different to doing brushed hair, you know, hair that's been brushed straight, or even a hair that has been styled into curls. This is totally natural and random and interesting. Play some music in the background, but I don't want to end up with my videos getting a copyright strike on YouTube, or which is what seems to be the main ones fighting the battle of copyright. Play you some of my own music, but it might be a little bit early in the morning for that. Oh, good morning. Just noticed, I really wish I could get this computer to play some kind of noise when when people leave me something in the chat there, because I keep missing people. Good morning to you, Dosa Guy. Hope you're feeling well this morning. Don't know whereabouts you are in the world. I should imagine you're probably in this country or to the east of me, because I think America is still asleep mostly at this time of the morning. America seems to come on in the afternoons more. Yes, I suppose I could play non-copyright music, to be honest. I'd have to have a look and find a decent site. Aha! I was right. It tends to be the east in the morning and the west in the afternoon. So what time is it in India? Oh my goodness, 3 p.m. Oh right, that's interesting. Usually when I've experienced time zones before, they seem to go in exact hours, but that's in a half hour. So what that is actually, what, 3, it's 11, 12, 4.5 hours. Yeah, that's unusual, isn't it? I've never encountered that before. A half hour time zone. I should imagine the weather in India is a lot nicer than it is here today. It's very grey and overcast and a bit rainy today. I have to say, I think it's been quite a good decision for me to stream on Twitch. I started streaming originally on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, but I didn't realise until my son told me a week ago that artists streamed on Twitch as well. I always thought Twitch was just a gaming platform, and so when I started streaming on Twitch, I had no idea what it was going to be like, but I seem to get more people coming and talking to me on Twitch than I do on any other platform, which is rather nice. Windy. Oh right, okay. I always get the impression that it's permanently red hot in India. I've never been to India. My dad was posted in India at the end, just after the war, to the Second World War. But I've never been to India. I'd love to go. How are you coping in India at the moment with the awful pandemic? And you were having a really bad time of it a few weeks ago, weren't you? Yep, it seems to be a real mixture of people who just seem to browse around and just find me, which is nice. I did have a look. I've had a look a few times at what other people are doing art-wise on Twitch, and I seem to stand out a little bit because most of them seem to be doing sort of anime style, computerized digital stuff, digital graphics, whereas this is obviously very much more traditional brushwork. Oh dear, it's far from over, isn't it? It's very concerning. We've got no lockdown. We've got no restrictions over here now at all. Our idiotic government has taken away any kind of restrictions whatsoever, and so we are, I think, set for a difficult winter because there's still a lot of people that aren't vaccinated, and even those that are vaccinated are vulnerable to getting COVID. I heard last week that Canberra in Australia went into full-on lockdown last week because they had discovered their very first case of COVID for over a year. It just shows that some places have been able to deal with it a lot better than others. I should imagine in India it was very difficult to deal with it. You've got such a large population. It is indeed. It's I said to my wife yesterday, we went to buy some, went to a big store, DIY store, and we get out of the car and we just automatically put our masks on. And I said to her, you know, if you'd said to us 2 years ago that we would, every time we went in a store, be putting a mask on, we just wouldn't have believed you. And if you'd put a mask on to go into a store, they would have thought you were going to rob the place. How times have changed. I think we're getting there. So do you come on to Twitch to watch the art, or to watch the gaming, or both, or whatever? All right. I can't say that I've gamed much for the last few years. I used to play a lot with my eldest son when he was young, but he's 24 now and been to university and all that sort of thing, and he's still gaming mad. He's just done a master's degree in game design. I spent many happy hours gaming with him when he was young. Yes, definitely. I mean, I do. To be honest, I do the same. I enjoy watching other people paint. It's you're always there. There's always, you can always learn from anybody, can't you? You can always watch other people and pick up something that you don't know, something that you've not tried before or whatever. Yeah, got you. I'm the same, to be perfectly honest, and as you can tell from this, I'm no spring chicken. I'm not that young, but I went back into education as a mature student and totally sort of retrained and redid the whole thing. And so I've actually I've got a PhD in music technology and music, but I've struggled to find a post. I've managed some part time stuff, but I've struggled to find a full time post. I've actually just this morning just got a in this morning just got an email inviting me for an interview in 2 days' time for a temporary lecturing post. So fingers crossed there, something might come of that. Thank you very much. That's very nice of you. And I hope you have some luck in getting what you're looking for job wise. In difficult times at the moment. There's a lot of people in this country being made unemployed by the pandemic. And so it's if you can get anything, I think at the moment you're lucky. So I started doing this. Whether I can make it pay enough, well, we'd have to wait and see, but somehow you've got to try and make ends meet. Oh right, yeah, yes. I've got a son off to university in a few weeks to do computer science, and another one off to university, a different university, in a few weeks to do maths, which is far beyond me. I'm not bad at maths, but I'm certainly the maths at the level that he does it is. It's not maths; it's some kind of hieroglyphics. I don't think I would. I mean, I'm just about to say something that really goes against what I'm doing, because what I'm doing here needs an awful lot of patience, but I don't think I would have the patience for coding. Yes, totally, totally. It's. I think you've got to have a particular type of brain to to deal with that sort of thing. All right. Where would you get? Where would you head for? Do you think? Oh, Canada. Yeah, nice. I had a I was a friend from that was a postgraduate student with me. Uh, she was in a totally different subject, but she moved to Canada afterwards. Lives in Canada, and every time I see any kind of posts that she puts online, there always seems to be like 50 feet of snow in the picture. Definitely looks like she's lived in the frozen wastelands. It's supposed to be very nice, Canada. I wouldn't head over here at the moment, I tell you. I would steer away from coming to the UK. I don't think that the UK is going to be a land of opportunity very much for some time now, some time to come. Well, in Canada. Ah, right. Yes, I had another friend a few years ago, about 10, 11 years ago, who went and spent a year or so in Canada. He loved it. I would imagine that it's very easy to get yourself lost in the system, so to speak, in Canada, because it's so vast and such a for the amount of land that there is, the population is tiny in comparison to the landmass. So if you like mountains and frozen wastelands, I should imagine you can easily disappear into the dawn, so to speak. have quite a large Oh, right, okay. Where did he study? Oh, Birmingham. That's not that far away. About 70 miles from Birmingham. My daughter lives near to Birmingham. It's not a place that I've ever had that much to do with, even though it's not that far away. We do have quite a large Indian community in this country. A lot of it came from the Raj and the time when Britain liked to go around rampaging around the world, colonising everywhere. That's a wonderful word, isn't it, for actually invading and occupying. But I think a lot of people tended to see some kind of association with Britain. Indians are everywhere. They like to travel. Yeah, the interview that I got on Thursday is in Manchester, and I worked in Manchester many years ago, and Manchester has a large Indian community and some absolutely fantastic restaurants and street centres, and because of it. And I must admit, if I end up working in Manchester again, I'm going to have to be careful not to go and head down there all the time and end up putting on 3 or 4 stone or something. Dosa. Okay. What is dosa? I don't know dosa. Is it food? All right. What's after? I'll have to look up dosa. Ah, no. No, I've not tried those, not seen those. We don't seem to get everything over here. And it's it seems Indian food seems to be quite regional, if I'm right, and it all depends what area the particular restaurateur or shop owner or what everything comes from as to what food they do and what everything's called. Oh, that's too dark. You're making me hungry now. I had breakfast cereal and a cup of coffee today so far. So Yes, definitely. A chicken tikka masala, naan. I shall do that when I finish this. Something's not right, and I'm not 100% sure yet what it is. I'm going to have to have a good look at this. I think the hair is not coming down enough. I think that's one of the things it is. I think I've got too much face. I think at the moment I might leave it at the face at that and come back to it after a little break in the proceedings. I'll maybe do the arms. It's a picture that's been sent to me. What I do is I work online. I'm doing a project basically. I did a similar project back 7 years ago, back in 2014, and I called it "I Paint Your Life." And what I do is I get people, followers and friends online, on social media, to send me pictures from their lives, and then I paint them. And what I did last time was, as I painted them, I put them I put the progress pictures onto social media, bit at a time. But this time I've decided to paint them online as well, in the hope of attracting a bit more attention. And so, people send me these pictures and I paint them and turn them into watercolour paintings, and then hopefully they buy them. No, it's not exactly commission work. It would be nice if it was, actually. Be a bit more security in it if it was. But no, it's basically I say, I'll paint the picture. If you like it, you can buy it. But you don't have to. You're not under any obligation to. And it tends to work out that I sell most of them, because when they see them, they want them. But there's always an element of gambling. I tried to turn it into commission work instead, and I got some, but not enough to sustain an income. So times are a bit tight at the moment. I thought I'd give this a go. Right, see if I can get some work in, and at the same time build up more of an online presence. No, I haven't. I've not. I've shied away from Etsy for years, really, because as far as I'm concerned, Etsy seems to be associated much more with crafts rather than art, and the problem you have is when you're doing art like this is that as soon as it becomes associated in any way with crafts, it loses value. I was going to try putting it into galleries. I got it quite prepared to do that. Oh. And I bought a table saw. I was making my own frames and getting it all nice, all prepared, and then COVID hit, and all the galleries closed for ages. So I had to do something different. COVID has had a big hit on everybody's lives. So I take it you're in southern India, from what you were saying about the cuisine. Bangalore. Oh, I see. Down at the bottom, right in the middle. Well, I'm in. Oh, right. It's where all the tech companies are, is it? An awful lot of tech is made in India nowadays, isn't it? Forgot to drink my coffee. Ah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's been such a huge shift globally this last few years. Over the past, what, 30 years probably. Don't know what you call it over there. Over here it's known as globalization. Which generally means rich people realizing that they can cheaply transport goods, shutting down everything in this country, taking everything to countries where they can get cheap labour, and exploiting a brand new workforce there. I suppose you're sort of starting to experience your equivalent to the Industrial Revolution in many respects. Absolutely. Absolutely. Dirty word in this house, I'm afraid, capitalism. Certainly not something that I'm a huge fan of. I think on the whole it generally just means exploitation. certainly doesn't benefit the masses. Oh. Oh. I suppose it's, in a way, it's not hugely different to what it was like in our Industrial Revolution, where basically it took a very poor, rather unhealthy workforce en masse to actually make everything that we had, and to make a few people very, very, very rich, which was what it was all about. And I'm not saying we haven't benefited, because we have. But it took an awful lot of people to get very, very downtrodden and very poor and very ill a lot of the time to allow us to get where we are today. I think we are very, no matter what I think of our absolutely dreadful government, I don't think anybody could say that we're not very lucky in many respects here. We don't have many natural disasters, we don't have extremes of climate. If we get 2 inches of snow in winter, everything comes to a standstill because nobody knows how to deal with it. It certainly is. And the older you get, producer guy, I tell you now, the older you get, the stranger it gets. You don't get to understand it anymore. it just gets stranger. Oh, yawning today. I didn't sleep well last night. Just one of those nights. See, that's another thing. You know, when I was young, I could sleep like a log absolutely anywhere. I've only just realised you're telling me all about this dosa dish that I must try, and it's your screen name, isn't it? It's your handle, dosa guy. It's obviously this presumably is your favourite food. You might let that dry a little. And while that dries, I'll take off the masking down the bottom and start work on some of the grasses and the foliage down the bottom here. Oh. So off comes the masking fluid, taking care to keep it going sideways off the as we rub it so as it doesn't tear the paper. As I was saying yesterday, I didn't realise when I started to work on this particular paper, which is actually on a block that belongs to my son, that it wasn't the paper that I usually use. It's the same make, Daler-Rowney, Langton, the Langton, it looks the same, colour of the pad's the same, but I'm used to using the Langton Prestige, which is 100% cotton, and it works different to this stuff. This stuff is smoother for a start, which I don't like as much. And it has a tendency to, if you're not careful, as you're taking the masking off, it can tear, which we don't want. So you have to be very careful. Just to make sure that you get every bit of masking fluid off. You don't want to leave any and suddenly realise in 10 years time that, oh, there's a little bit of masking fluid there that I missed. Yeah, it's been that frame for 10 years. Oh, never mind. Right. Oh. Getting there. So now, I think first of all to go. Yeah. First of all, let's put the green in, and then I would always, different makes work slightly differently. I like Daler-Rowney paper. I buy it in blocks like this, so that it doesn't have to be stretched. You've got a block of paper that is glued all the way around, except for a little gap that's left here, so that you can get a pen or a blade in there. Not a pen, a knife or a blade of some kind in there to separate the sheets one at a time. But it means it doesn't have to be stretched. But I like the 100% cotton version, which is called Prestige. It just works nicer. It's more expensive, and it works nicer. This is not cotton. This is wood-based. It's more like a paper that we get over here called Bockingford, which I really dislike. But you know, I can do it on it. Obviously, you can see, but I do prefer the feel of and the way that water flows on cotton-based not based, 100% cotton rag paper. Let's take that and knock it back. Instead of knocking this green back with burnt umber, let's knock it back with some Payne's grey. Okay. And let's get the grasses in. I'll tidy them up after I've got a wash over them where I want them. it's been nice to have you around with me this morning. Dosa Guy. What's your real name, by the way? Calling you Dosa Guy is not very friendly. I will do it. It's coming to rapidly heading towards an end, I think, this stream. Raj. Okay, Raj. Yeah, I now have two online friends in India. I have an online friend in Mumbai called Dheeraj, who has been following me now for the last 7 years, and so you now are my second Indian friend. Hope you'll give me a follow on if you haven't already. I'd like that very much. I don't have many followers yet, so every little counts. Well, have a good day yourself. You must be coming up to what? It's nearly 5 o'clock where you are, something like that. Have a good evening. It's 14 minutes to midday here. Oh, smashing. Thank you very much. I'll pop back tomorrow, and you'll probably find me painting something totally different. No point popping there on Thursday morning, because that's when I've got my interview. That's nice. I shall look forward to seeing you again. Oh, I can't click you. I shall have to get you on now. I shall go on Twitch and I shall follow you back. I'm not actually seeing the Twitch stream here because I'm actually streaming to Twitch and Facebook and other places too. Indeed, you have a great day too. Bye bye. Have a lovely time. Stay safe. Wear a mask. Right, I think it's now time to bring this session to a close. I've had not a very good night's sleep. I'm pushing this, and I don't want to spoil it. So I shall stop, go and get some lunch, take a rest, and I shall come back and look at it with fresh eyes later on this afternoon. And then I'll be able to see much more clearly what still needs doing. At the moment, it's a little bit hazy. Thank you for joining me today, on and off, different people. Thank you very much for Raj, otherwise known as Dosa Guy, who's been joining me all morning on Twitch, which has been great fun. I do like talking to people as I paint, and especially when those people are all over the world in totally different countries with totally different cultures. It's fantastic, it's enriching. At a time when it's not really safe to travel the world, it's nice to travel like this without leaving the room and meet new people all the time. I love it. That's one nice thing about this particular project. So I will be back possibly this afternoon. We'll have to see what happens. I might decide that I like it as it is. I might decide I just need to tweak it a little bit. I might do something totally different this afternoon. I've got a couple of videos I'd like to make, I think, to put onto YouTube. One on my experiences in this first couple of weeks of streaming, the mistakes I've made and how I fixed them, so that maybe it can help some people to not make the same mistakes as me. But it's been great fun. I'm really enjoying it, and I'd love to see you all again in the next video and the next live stream. Until then,